Welcome to How to Stay Healthy, where we interview doctors each week across the vast medical landscape of cardiology, neurology, orthopedics, sports medicine, and primary care. Join us here for your prescription to better health. Hello, South Florida and beyond, and welcome to the How to Stay Healthy show here on Friday. We're going to start out with a little bit of news today. Dr. Joseph Ricotta, who's been on the program twice, as you may remember, the vascular surgeon in Delray Beach with Tenet Florida Cardiovascular Care. Dr. Ricotta, I got some news on Sunday, some great news on Easter Sunday, that he was on a flight to Cabo, Mexico with his wife on much-needed vacation. He's also the regional medical director of vascular surgery at Delray Medical Center for Tenet Health. He was able to save a 9-year-old girl on the plane. What happened was she was having a seizure and was unresponsive, and the airline, it was Delta Airlines, asked if there was a doctor on board, and Dr. Ricotta was able to resuscitate the young woman, the young girl, and actually had to get on the communication, the pilot's ear and headphones there, and the microphone, and talk to ground control about possibly doing emergency landing or going on to Cabo. So he was able to communicate, and I'm happy to say that the young girl is doing fine, and Dr. Ricotta was able to go on with his vacation with his wife in Mexico. So that's just great news. I mean, we're so lucky, I say on the show all the time, to have such great doctors join us on both this How to Stay Healthy show and also the show on Tuesdays that we do here, 6 to 7, the You and Your Doctor show as well. So I just wanted to share that news because it really, really nice to hear, you know. Doctors are always, it's like they're always on call. It's like it goes on forever and ever. So without further ado, I want to welcome tonight's guest. So we are so lucky to have a naturopathic doctor. You may remember 2 months ago we had one on, and I had a lot of questions about what is a naturopathic doctor, but I was lucky to meet from New York City a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Serena Goldstein. We actually ran into each other in Delray Beach. She was in the area for a much needed, I believe, R&R in the area, and we met at the Delray Beach Green Market, where I spend my weekends with my wife, who runs a pastry company. So I had a lot of questions about this naturopathic look at medicine, or not look, but, you know, focus in medicine is the word. So I'm going to quit talking and bring her on and ask her a few questions to explain it. Dr. Goldstein, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. And yourself?
Great. Thank you for calling in all the way from New York City. I heard that it may be snowing up there. Is it snowing up there?
I honestly think I just saw a little something go by my window, but you know what? I would not put it past the weather forecast, because even on Monday, this past Monday, they didn't even expect it to happen. So who knows? We'll probably still be going to the beach at Halloween. So. Oh,
well, and I just saw you in Delray Beach this Saturday. So what was it, like 80 degrees and sunny, and you got, I know you got a lot of color because you were out in the sun, but wow, what a change in just a few days, huh?
Right? Yeah, no, it's definitely nope, not retiring my down jacket quite yet.
No. Is that late for snow up there? Because, you know, I'm from Florida. I'm from South Florida. I have no idea. This seems a little late to me.
It is.
It is.
I mean, honestly, when it rained, was it a number of days ago, it's like, oh, maybe these are, like those April showers. But, yeah, and then the temperature seems to still have dropped a little bit. And, yeah, so this is pretty, it should be in the 50s. It should be about 10 degrees cooler, maybe with 10 degrees warmer, maybe with a smattering of 60-something degrees, as you're slowly, because we're already coming into almost halfway done with April, so.
Wow. Well, I hope everyone up there stays healthy, because it was a tough flu and respiratory illness season down here. I don't know about you up there, but I imagine it was tough for the whole country.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just whatever's going around really hit everyone regardless, because, we're especially too, the Florida, New York coast, we're all kind of affected. When even we're affected, you guys are affected to some extent too.
Well, I'm so glad you joined us because, as you know, we have a lot of listeners up in New York City, and as well, a lot of people go back and forth different times of the years between Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and New York City. Actually, I've read a ton of stories on Delray Beach and Boca Raton in the New York Times over the years, so I know it's a big focus. So what I wanted to have you on the program for is exactly what the intro I was talking about, naturopathic medicine. Can you tell us a little bit about it, and is it associated with primary care?
It is. So naturopathic medical school, it's about a 4 or 5 year program where the first 2 years are pretty synonymous to conventional school, where we learn all the basic science, diagnostics, labs, imaging, pathology, then have our first set of board exams similar to the USMLEs. Then the next 2 to 3 years is when we also learn the pharmaceuticals as well as nutrition, homeopathy, hydrotherapy, minor surgery, IV therapy, and chiropractic work. As you know, so it's more tools in our toolbox to not just treat the patient, but to get to the root cause of disease. Then we have our next set of board exams, which are 3 days worth, case-based, and we're really looking at all the herb, drug, nutrient interaction. So, graduating school, we do come out as full primary care where, even modalities up to, once again, diagnosing, prescribing, and so forth. However, licensure for that happens on a per state basis. So a lot of times, let's say, in Florida or, even here in New York, where I don't have, the complete full scope, I'll also partner up with MDs as well and, working with patients. And it's funny, I was actually just on the phone with a wonderful MD earlier, about coordinating patients' care. So it's good.
That's fantastic. Now, do you also do, and I haven't seen this, I see a couple commercials, but I haven't seen it really too much in Florida. Do you do telemedicine where, like, if you were my doctor, I could just pick a time during the day that worked for both of us and kind of connect with you either on the laptop, smartphone, or tablet?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's been great. And that was kind of what I always envisioned for myself as well. So it's really nice having that as an up and coming.
For sure. Yeah, because it's amazing, with that option, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I have a rash or something, I could take the phone and show you, or if I needed maybe a prescription refilled, or maybe in terms of you, I know you do a lot with hormonal imbalance, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Maybe talk to you a little bit about that, and you could set me on the way, whether it could do with diet, etc. But I would be able to do that just over the screen?
Exactly. So I know there are apps now, I believe, where it's like literally maybe text and a picture and diagnose. And sometimes I will say to my patients, and if you want to text it to me, or maybe like, a little rash came up, something happened, of course they know that, certain forms of telemedicine are not HIPAA compliant, but for them, they just want to ask me anyway. And then it's like, all right, well, do you have a dermatologist depending on the rash? So yes, it definitely leaves for that another, like a heightened relationship with patients as well, where, they can really feel cared for and having access to me. And regarding prescriptions, that's more something your primary care would do. So once again, that's where I love being able to open up the conversation and say, hey, if your primary care is willing, which usually most are, because a lot of their patients now are asking them about this, and whether they just don't really have the time, or it's not, usually part of, or really not that much, part of the conventional medicine education. A lot of the times they don't even take nutrition, that they are really happy that their patients have found someone who can speak both languages and, help kind of quarterback their care.
That's fantastic. I'm so interested in this, and really, I know on the website, which I'm going to give it out a few times, I'll start now. It's drserenagoldstein.com. So you just put DR and then Serena, SERENA, and Goldstein, GOLDSTEIN. And we actually have her number on the screen as well. 646-450-1704 if you're looking for a great naturopathic doctor. I'm just amazed with her. We chatted at the Green Market probably for an hour and a half. I wouldn't let her go. I said to my wife, I'm attracted to doctors, and my wife looked at me kind of funny. I said, they're like a magnet to me because I do a lot of PR and the radio show, but I was really interested in the naturopathic approach, and I definitely am. And, I love the telemedicine part of it. You're so ahead of the curve. I'm not seeing it too much down here in South Florida. But let's get into a little more about naturopathic medicine. So you treat hormonal imbalances. What is the actual hormonal imbalance?
Right. So hormones, a lot of the times people think of, usually it usually refers to sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And so these imbalances can cause certain symptoms, just like any kind of imbalance or when the body is off. So the imbalance becomes, let's say, things like weight gain, can't sleep right, anxiety, stress, and the funny thing is with those four is that usually people think, oh, they have low libido, or a lot of the times men have low T, so they'll know, they've heard the word hormones before, so they'll get a sense of what an imbalance really means. But as I said, there could be, hormonal imbalances that are even contributing to sometimes things that aren't as obvious, once again, such as sleep. So from my perspective, it's more of, I'm not just looking to replace the hormone, because I could do that with herbs, and or people can go get testosterone or for bioidenticals or birth control. But what I'm interested in is why the body is out of balance in the first place, and how can I work on addressing all the different organ systems.
And Dr. Goldstein, I just turned 40 years old, and I'm a man, and I know I have low T because I can just feel it. So how can you help a guy like me get his sexy back?
In so many ways. Usually where I start with patients is taking a look at their diet, sleep, stress, and lifestyle. So I do a lot of nutrition counseling, not so much to a particular diet, but it's, what fits them. What are they going to do? Personally, if I'm not going to do a recipe with like 12 different ingredients, I'm not going to give that same recipe. Maybe unless, I have a cook who really loves to experiment. And once again, that's when you get to individualize every plan for them. Because, I'll also explain how supplements are not going to out-supplement a crappy diet or lifestyle. So with that comes the counseling of, do we have enough healthy fats in the diet? Healthy fats are really important to making testosterone, and then getting all those really good nutrients in, especially the cruciferous vegetables, the dark leafy greens, because those are also have a lot of vitamins and minerals that are also really going to help the liver. So the liver is a huge organ in this, and that it helps make and metabolize hormones, which is one of the organ systems that I'm also going to be considering as I look at cholesterol and blood sugar, making sure vitamin D is adequate. And on the other side of things, what's their stress, lifestyle, and sleep like? Because a lot of the times we're overstressed, overworked, not sleeping, something's not quite right. And the fact is, when our body is in fight or flight, then there's no way we're just not gonna think of reproducing, which means having a healthy balance of those hormones. So by being able to tip the scales, now without even bringing on supplements, you're already helping your body get back in balance. And because they're literally supplements, the supplements, as we're starting to look at what's our goal and trajectory of care going to look like, then we bring in, all right, well, where are we helping out? Like maybe the thyroid needs some help. Maybe we actually do need that little boost of vitamin D. Adrenal support. Those are also really important organs that can very much be affected by stress and also make hormones as well. So there's all these different organ systems that are taken into play, and then the mental emotional sphere, because that could also be a huge trigger for stress. And let's say if we have constant ruminating thoughts, maybe we haven't been well since a certain event. So there's ways of working through that as well. So And it's literally taking an approach on the mental, emotional, physical sphere, putting together all the dots based on the person who's sitting in front of me while accounting for their family history. And I know this sounds like a lot, but once again, you're also going back to that foundation of diet, sleep, stress, and lifestyle, and moving on from there.
Dr. Goldstein, great information. Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And on the other side, we're going to talk a little bit about how Dr. Goldstein can help women with painful periods, perimenopause, and with stress on the How to Stay Healthy show. Oh, we're going to go right through. That's fine. So, Dr. Goldstein, I'm going to give out your info then. I'm going to give you a chance to catch your breath because you've given us a lot of great info as well. So, again, it's drserenagoldstein.com is the website. And I just went on there, and I'm happy to say it's once again a fantastic website, but I was able to sign up for Dr. Serena Goldstein's tips. All I did is put in my first name and my email, and everything we've talked about so far has been emailed to me. And now we're going to talk a little bit about how she helps women with painful periods. Dr. Goldstein, how can a naturopathic doctor like yourself help out with that?
Right. So, yeah, it's definitely a common concern. And so from the conventional medicine standpoint, I also want to be able to rule out, after taking a good history, just making sure there are many different things that can be causing a painful period, like cysts and fibroids. So from that side of things, it's, that's in the back of my head. But stemming from the treatment side, that's where I'm really looking to understand, potentially get have them get a hormone panel from their blood work and really take a look at what exactly are their hormones doing. Generally, we tend to, men included, to have high estrogen, just based on a lot of the processed foods, and then especially from women, even switching from tampons to Diva cups, which, so tampons have a lot of chemicals in them, and the vagina is about 4 times more absorptive than our finished skin. So even that can really help mitigate a lot of the symptoms. Having magnesium or magnesium-rich food like avocados, nuts, those are all wonderful ways. So magnesium, nature's relaxer. So, really horrible cramps can hopefully be mitigated over the next few months with those. And then there may be some breast tenderness as well, like castor oil topically could be really nice. But once again, while we have these in place, we're also really looking to heal the root cause of disease.
Now, how does a naturopathic doctor help with perimenopause?
Right. So perimenopause, a lot of the times, I'll hear from women, is this stress or perimenopause? I don't understand. And I was like, all right, let's go back over the symptoms. And honestly, at this point in time, I have seen it get, younger and younger. Even like about last year, I had a woman in her mid to late 30s just, try to tease things apart. And, so once again, I usually find that there was some issue of hormonal imbalances, even decades ago, like maybe the painful periods, maybe the acne. And little by little, things have snowballed. So really focusing on adrenal support, stress management is going to be really important. That a lot of the times, hear, work out 24/7. It's like, well, if you maybe put a yoga class into some of those workouts and some deep breathing. Once again, really focusing on the liver, circling back to that, those dark leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables are going to help with hormonal health as well. Ground flax seeds so what's nice about ground flax seeds in this case is that it's a phytoestrogen, so it acts like an estrogen, but it also feeds good gut bacteria, so helps with GI and move out all those extra hormones and toxins, and it also helps bind up any hormones as well. So it's adding the fiber, it's adding the hormonal balance, and also from the dietary standpoint, really mitigating dairy and sugar is going to make a big difference as well.
And we're here with Dr. Serena Goldstein. It's drserenagoldstein.com. Just put DR and then her name, Serena Goldstein, in the browser.com. You can always see this show at allcountyhealthcare.com. All the radio shows are archived there, or on their Facebook Live page, All County Healthcare INC. They're the sponsor of this show. Dr. Goldstein is a naturopathic doctor, or ND. So in New York City, but she has ties down here in South Florida, Delray Beach, and Boca Raton as well. She spent some time down here. I actually met her at the Delray Beach Green Market, so that's how we met. We got into this conversation about naturopathic doctor. Now, she specializes in hormonal concerns such as weight, mood, stress, PMS, perimenopause, which we just had her talk about, and andropause. Dr. Serena creates customized plans utilizing nutrition, botanical medicine, we just heard that a second ago, and homeopathy, while educating her patients around conventional care and supplements to address symptoms and then discover how and when they feel their best. Dr. Serena has been published in well-known health and wellness resources such as Mind Body Green, Consumer Health Digest. There's her picture on the screen. Looks great. And as well, and The Hearty Soul. She has appeared on Sirius XM Doctor Radio and spoken at places like Lehman College and the American Cancer Society. I know she holds it dear to her heart attending medical conferences and talking about the latest in health. She is also on the advisory board for the Natural Practitioner magazine and lends her expertise to fellow doctors at NYU Hospital Poison Control Center. Wow. Now, check out how you can naturally reduce stress and boost your energy levels on her website. She's also been featured in Green Med Info, Bustle. How do you keep up with all this, Dr. Goldstein? You're involved in everything. That's fantastic, though. You're very dedicated on... Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'd say I love what I do. I fell in love with this medicine beginning of college, but I began the passion for wanting to heal when I was a teenager. So everything I do is literally based out of how can I spread the knowledge, how can I heal, and especially helping people understand that a lot of the conditions we have now did not just appear overnight, and that's why we have so many. And even though there are so many, at the same time, there is common ground. And so, being able to align with a medicine like this, where then you can really address all those different multiple root causes, it's incredible. And then when you see the healing and then experience it too with the patient, sometimes healing is 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and it can seem really frustrating. And then they come out even stronger, and then they know their own body too. I've had patients say, I've never learned so much about my body until I started working with you. And to have that awareness is just so rewarding.
Most definitely. And where'd you do your undergrad at?
Barrett Honors College at Arizona State University.
Oh, so you're Sun Devil.
I am.
And then where'd you go on from there?
I went up to, it's now National University of Natural Medicine in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, neat. I'm actually going up that way in August. I'm going to see Pearl Jam in Seattle, and I have a friend in Portland, so I'm going to try to visit Portland as well.
It's an amazing city, just so full of culture and vibrancy. So it was a great place to certainly learn the medicine there.
You hang out in some cool places. You're from New York City, you went to school at Arizona State, and you lived in Portland, Oregon as well. Wow.
Exactly. Oh, and I also lived for a month down in Florida. I finished medical school a term early, moved down to Florida for a month, and then drove up the East Coast where I studied for my board exams.
Oh, wow. Whereabouts in Florida were you?
Just with my parents right by the Green Market.
Oh, yeah, Delray Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a reporter in Delray Beach for 7 years, so.
Wow.
That's actually how I got into healthcare. One of the healthcare organizations actually brought me in after I was a reporter for the Sun Sentinel, which is the daily newspaper from about Miami up to Jupiter it ends, so that area.
Oh, okay.
So let me ask you a question. I always throw this to doctors. What are your hobbies and passions in life outside of medicine? I know you're so dedicated, and we can tell by the way you explain, and I can attest to it meeting you in person. But what do you do to kind of get away?
You mean there's time to get away? I'm kidding.
Well, I saw you in Florida. I know it's snowing up there, so there definitely is.
I go to the gym. I love taking classes, whether it's Zumba, weights, yoga, probably around 4 times a week. That's kind of my help keep my sanity. Usually over the summer, I love driving. I love taking road trips, hiking. So I'll drive up to the mountains in New York and try to grab a friend with me, and we'll hike somewhere somewhat local. Definitely have a travel bug. And then I love going to comedy shows here in the city and just, being with friends, with honestly, whether it's a chill night in or just being able to go out. Because, you do need a break from work. And that's sometimes when the magic happens, and just whether it's new ideas, new ways to help people, new ventures. It's very important to really have that well-rounded peaceful life.
Well, Dr. Goldstein, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. It's drserenagoldstein.com or 646-450-1704. You can always check out this interview on allcountyhealthcare.com or their Facebook page, All County Healthcare INC. Dr. Goldstein, you're always welcome on the show. Next time you're down in Florida, come over and we'll have you in the studio.
Perfect. That sounds great.
Thank you and have a good night. I want to just give the listeners a little heads up. Dr. Frank Wittenberger, who's been on the program twice, is opening a new med spa this Monday in Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to Living Well Medical Spa in Fort Lauderdale, bringing out your beauty. The hours are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6. The phone number is 954-999-0257. Check him out. He does injectables as well, and he's a former general surgeon. Thank you for listening to the How to Stay Healthy show. For a prescription to better health from the top doctors in the medical fields of cardiology, neurology, orthopedics, sports medicine, and primary care, join us each week on the How to Stay Healthy show.